Startled by a voice, I sprang up. Hey up. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of World End Economica. And apparently it's 5. Hagana was standing outside the door. It's already 5. Why aren't you coming? She stated it quite bluntly. With that, I finally remembered what happened in the morning. Oh yeah. Perhaps I was tired or something. I was panicking, but my voice was coarse and I couldn't quite speak clearly. I had immersed myself pondering out a new way of trading with Hagana working on financial engineering. Furthermore, since I actually had no clue about math, it was quite tiring. Hagana's brows conveyed a doubtful look, but she didn't really ask me anything. I already got ready. Out of caution, I placed my computer in my bag. Essentially took all my life possessions with me as I left the room. Hagana had a usual black attire and a black bag, giving off a grim atmosphere as if she was attending a funeral. Not just black clothing, but a black bag as well. An orange bag wouldn't have worked with these clothes. Wow, looks like you do have a sense of aesthetics. Hagana was further down the hall, turned around with a big frown. Of course, unlike you, brat. When we first met, she kept calling me smelly, and this morning she said, "Oh, wags." So did someone as cheeky as her need some spanking? Hey, you call me a brat again? Huh? I'm telling Lisa. Hagana apparently totally yielded to Lisa. To be honest, it was even at the level of childish quarrelling, but Hagana stood motionless as if she made a big mistake. I walked past her, feeling all smug. At that instant, Hagana's hand grabbed my hem. Please don't tell Lisa. She looked like she was about to cry any moment now. I couldn't keep up with my racing thoughts. A girl about the same age as me had a thin, downcast eyebrows and tightened her lips to a point of quivering. Furthermore, her slender hand grasped onto my hem as if it were a lifeline. In that situation, there wasn't much you could do, even if you'd had tons of weight training. I'd forgotten I was dealing with Hagana and tried for the life of me to find the proper words. In that regard, my memories were flashing by me as if I were on the verge of death. I heard of this happen to people on the verge of death because it was something that allowed a person to find possible routes of salvation from past memories. And what I finally remembered was something terribly simple. I won't. Really? Hagana was looking at me almost clingingly, with upturned eyes. This was the face she had when I was about to spill the beans about the incident with Toyama. I guess she wanted to keep up appearances with Lisa even more than I imagined. After I nodded, she stared at me for a while before finally letting go. Well, what is it? Hagana flung a total unintelligible question at me, after slowly returning to a normal poker face self. Huh? I'm asking you what it is. Her brows are showing signs of frustration. While being shocked by a sort of transformation, I eventually asked back, totally not understanding the question. What are you talking about? I don't understand. I really don't understand. First, I couldn't really help but feel hesitant with unreasonable Hagana, who had posed an unintelligible question, whilst looking at me with frustration when I was unable to answer. However, Hagana's behaviour was also kind of strange. And then, the reason for this came to light. While being frustrated, she finally turned her eyes away and responded painfully. Your name? Have I really not told her my name? I somehow managed to hold my laughter, but did end up spitting out some air lightly. Hagana looked at me in scorn in response, if I was some rude person. However, her tightly sealed lips made it obvious to me that she was trying to hold an embarrassment. While leaking some air between my teeth, I replied, Kawaru Yoshiharu. Huh? I don't remember it being that long. Are you making fun of me? Hagana's glowing eyes were saying that to me, but I accepted that and replied, Oh yeah, that's my real name. How was the name that Lisa gave to me? Hagana looked at me, totally shocked. Your real name? Are you an idiot? Those words simply flowed out of her mouth. You also ran away from home, so it's not like you'd go report me, right? Hagana might be strange, but she fully understands the meaning of a runaway youth letting someone know her real name. She was definitely intelligent, and she wasn't lacking in common sense. But there was no need to tell me that. Huh? A reason? Well, there was that. What? Hagar had no expression on her face, but she was almost asking me angrily. This time I was a bit bashful when answering. I've never been called by a nickname before. Huh? Around me were a lot of rowdy people older than me, so they simply called by my first name. I also didn't really go to school, and besides nicknames were a matter of cardinal fact thing, I didn't really like them. It made me feel kind of funny or something. There was a strange feeling I couldn't quite name when Lisa called me Hal. It was definitely not a bad situation. However, the current situation, it didn't quite feel right. Feeling all flippant over being called a nickname by some woman amounted to being a coward. So you couldn't call me something when Cora would be kind of bad. You could just call me by my first name. Well, if that annoying lady weren't around, you could just call me Brad or hey, you. I don't mind. With my night proclamation, Hagar looked down and pondered my words. She looked like a kid who'd been tricked too many times. A skeptical girl in black clothing. The notion that it was clothing appropriate for someone like a funeral popped back into my head. Perhaps it was the clothes she had on her when she was sold. So, can I just call her you, Hagar? She nodded to my question. After nodding, she opened her mouth to try to say something. Huh? I didn't catch what she said and asked her, but she returned to her senses quickly and shut her mouth. And then she had a nice expression on her face, as if she was overly cleansing emotion from herself, and turned her cheek towards me. In front of me was a side profile, a barrier that would reflect back any words hurled at it. Possessed solely by females with tough personalities. We should get going with clothes shopping. She uttered those words robotically and started walking. The speed in her change of expression and behaviour left me baffled. And then, a few steps ahead of me, she apparently noticed that I wasn't following her. She spun around like a well-made toy. What are you doing? Aren't you coming? Are you an idiot? I replied tiredly, yeah, and started walking. Perhaps she was unsatisfied with that response because she lifted an eyebrow. But in the end she didn't say anything and turned around walking forward silently. Lisa, who had been cleaning up the church, looked at us, walking a distance deep for each other, said, "Have a safe trip," with a wry smile. So I guess I have to go clothes shopping, isn't it? The rain had already let up. The carved out limestone cliffs and the winding narrow streets, drenched with water, were sparkling under a stimulated sunset. Normally I'd be exploiting low gravity and taking flying leaps on wall to rooftop and vice versa, but Hagar wasn't cut out for it. Of course it wasn't she was a girl. Our sports programs were a bunch of girls with bodies as flexible as felines, who would run through very complicated terrain as if they were ninja warriors. However, these activities just didn't fit Hagar. It'd be more fitting for her to be scrunching up her eyebrows and sipping tea outside a boisterous, sweat-filled stadium. And so we were currently walking towards the shopping centre, supposedly located on the second block, and Hagar would look back at me occasionally. It wasn't clear she was gathering a torch from me or anything like that. It was just too much for her to be able to walk alongside a girl, so I kept a bit of distance. Yoshi really is a bit of a kid, isn't he? And since we were walking slowly, going through the streets, there were a lot of things I wanted to see. Therefore, I can understand Hagar's irritation, as seeing as I trailed behind so many times. And anyway, it wasn't a thing in this world that you couldn't attach a price tag to. Therefore, the streets were a treasure trove of information to me. It's because as long as something would be sold, someone would want to be earning a profit on it. What I wanted to know was who, in this case. For example, I couldn't make any money going to a building materials business, selling materials and working in construction. However, I could invest in a company that did that and be able to share my profits. I could do this via stock investments. If I could earn money without having to pour hours into my own sweat into it, then it wouldn't be the proper thing to do. I had less respect for those who worked the soil and grew vegetables like my parents, and more for those who bought the crops from my parents and sold them for profit. But just investing in my latter party, I could even save myself the work of actually reselling. By glimpsing the houses along the street, the buildings, materials and doors, the toys hanging from window frames and the furniture and electronics that could be seen, I could determine what people in the income bracket here bought and what was currently popular. What people were passing by wore, what terminals they had with them, and what stores they went into. If there were indeed 4,000 or so companies trading on the stock exchange, one would definitely be able to see a product from at least one of the companies everywhere you went. The seeds of money making lay all over the place. And I was merely peeling back the fruit to get at the seed. And this method was the fastest and best way to get rich, or should have been. Right now, my confidence was wavering as to whether this was really the best way. As a result, I thought of getting Hagana to learn financial engineering, and then leveraging her power. But was that really possible? First, would Hagana be able to fully understand financial engineering? And second, would Hagana simply help me out? We're here. Hagana stops and said those words to me. Ooh. We'd walked along a street jammed between buildings 6 to 7 stories high, which felt like they could fall over any moment to block our way, and went up crude steps. Let's have another look at this place. I quite like this place. It doesn't really have a shopping district feel to it. It looks more like a school, really, doesn't it? The classrooms either side, in a courtyard, and a gateway in a covered area, basically. It's got a lovely view, though. He passed a woman with her shopping bags full of ingredients for students who lightly warm sausages in their mouths. Hagana was standing atop of the steps. There, beyond rusty iron handrails, extended a street lined with shops doing their very best to show off their tidiness. This was supposedly the second block shopping centre. The street extended outwards, flanked by buildings on either side, and a flow of people appeared like a small river sandwiched between run-down commercial buildings. The incoming foot traffic was stopped by the steps beneath my feet. Seeing this, I realised where I stood was a vestige of days past during the expansion of Lunar City. Originally, this place was the edge of the city. This elevated area was a foundation for a dome that covered the sky, programmed to act out the effects of day and night. Currently, the edge of the dome was much further away, and levees like this were obviated by advances in technology. However, precisely because it was ancient, actually standing here gave me a literal awesome view. I wasn't sure whether it was made of concrete or carved out of lunar terrain, but it was definitely something like a levee extending to my left and right. It was immediately swallowed up by a myriad of buildings, so I couldn't follow it for very far, but I was able to see a piece of lunar history there. What? Oh, that's an angry face. Hagana looked at me with a puzzled face. I was angry, not puzzled. I responded supposed to... It looked like scrunching up of her brows was a instinctive response to anything puzzling. I looked up and explained it to her. This was a vestige of where the ceiling dome used to be. Hagana looked up at the sky and fixed her eyes on the faint seams of the dome. You're kidding. I'm not lying. When I was around 8 or something, there was a project to build an even bigger dome over the small dome. Is that really true? Why would I lie? Hagana looked at me doubtfully. I shrugged and replied, I wouldn't lie about something you could simply look up and figure out instantly. Hagana drew in her chin a bit and nodded, seeing a reason in my reply. All I remember even now is the moon used to have 2 layers of sky. I looked at the sky as I was talking and noticed Hagana looking at me. Finally, Hagana looked at the sky herself and muttered, Wow. Just one word, but the brevity indicated the strength of a thought behind it. As I was excited, as if she were giving me a compliment. I know because I was born on a moon. I don't really know much about the Earth, so I might know most of the stuff about the moon. Born on a moon? I didn't tell you. I was born when my first wave of immigration group arrived in the city. About the same age as the city. Huh. Hagana looked at me like she was truly surprised, and I felt a little pride in myself. However, the surprise on my face eventually disappeared, and she returned to a normal poker face and said, Well, it takes many years for a city to be built, and so you can't be the same age. Well, the time it takes for a human to be created isn't counted in the age, right? I guess you're right. For a second I thought I'd surprised her again, but Hagana nodded as if she understood the profound truth. Now, looking at this once again in a while, I do wonder about the amount of effort put in to create this. As I talked, I squinted at the dome that made the sky on the lunar surface. As one of the top public works projects in the history of the lunar surface, it evolved over 1,000 different enterprises. However, when I looked at the dome on the side, it wasn't about the technologies that made this dome possible, but something easier to understand. The infrastructure of the city was supported by Emerald Industries. Its related companies supposedly make up 40% of the participants in that project. As its 24 billion more profit this year remained a record for the highest annual gain to this day. Of course, on Earth there are many conglomerates who had annual earnings exceeding this ghastly amount, due to a vastness in history and scope of a planet. However, on the moon, which is the record, was still off the charts. There were anti-monopoly laws to prevent the breakdown of competition, and people said that if those laws weren't there, Sea Tranquility would have already had an industry's logo engraved with it on it. The 24 billion more price tag was enough to make anyone just thinking about it. The people working in the shops on the second blog throughout the sector, hourly wages likely range between 5 and 7. It's about 6 then. SO made 80 malls working 10 hours a day. Working 30 days non-stop in a month, resulting in 2,400 malls. A year would be 2,800 malls. Working from the age of 20 until the age of 60 would be a bit over 1 million malls. Rent and living expenses are rather high on the moon, and therefore living with just these earnings is difficult. I think you're mad if you were to say that living from meal to meal is fun. You wouldn't be able to enjoy various entertainment options from White Belt to Newton City. If you was back on Earth, you wouldn't even be able to afford to go back. To live a life where things you could do vastly outnumbered the things you could do would make life meaningless, in my opinion. That's a very good point. Why live to survive when you can live a little bit harder to do more? To deal with this balance, one wouldn't need power or money. And using money and power, Emerald Industries left a mark where no entity had left a mark before in the history of the moon. Is this something in the sky? I came too quickly on hearing Gunner's words. Nah, I was just thinking a bit about the existence above the clouds. Of course, being born on the moon, I never saw clouds before. I knew about them through videos and stories, thus I felt this expression was quite suitable. Hagano definitely wouldn't know about Emerald Industries, but questioned it with Sky and stared at me with surprise. You believe in God? Huh. You mean like what Lisa would talk about? Oh Lord who lives in the kingdom of heaven. People on Earth believe that afterlife existed beyond heavens. Certainly to people interested in making money, the moon was probably heaven. In this area, there probably weren't as many people who use that word to mean anything other than a happy place. It's like people starting at not to think of actual difficult to use and outdated books when the word book was mentioned. Well, something like God can't exist, right? In response, Agana neither agreed with me nor refuted my statement and really stared at me. She had a normal expressionless face, but looked a lot more serious than usual. I was beginning to wonder if she'd gotten bad at me for speaking like I was ridiculing Lisa, but Hagana eventually closed her eyes slowly. And then, like a proud stray cat, she threw her face to her side, avoiding my gaze. I also think so too. Very good stopping point for the day. As ever, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.